If you grew up in a family where comparison was normal, where love was measured by achievement, or when someone was always doing better or worse, I see you. I grew up there too. And I know what it's like to feel that pressure follow you into motherhood. In this video, I will be talking about how to liberate yourself from the grip of comparison, ensuring it doesn't enter your family culture as well. Comparison is one habit I refuse to pass on to my daughter. Comparison is what happens when the ego forgets that God doesn't make duplicates. And I don't want my daughter growing up believing she has to become someone she already is. Comparison was everywhere in my upbringing. In my culture, it functioned as a form of motivation. My grandmother, who is Filipino, used it the way some people use praise, to push us forward, to keep us striving. Who had the better grades? Who got into the better school? Who landed the more respectable, high-paying job? Maybe you can relate to this. I remember when I was little, my grandparents would ask me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" If I responded with anything other than a doctor, a lawyer, or a talk show host, I would be met with a scornful expression. My grandma used to watch the Oprah show, and she would say, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice if you had a talk show like that one day? You could be like Oprah." And so, of course, I wanted to be like Oprah. I wanted my own talk show. Eventually, I realized I didn't want my own talk show. And so I settled for just being famous. Surely she would approve of that. So these desires revealed way later that it wasn't necessarily affection I chased as much as it was approval. For a long time, I thought that was normal, that striving was proof of worthiness, that doing more was the way to be seen, and that being seen was the way to be loved. But as I got older, this way of being catches up to you if you don't confront it. I really began to see how exhausting that way of living really was, and it was keeping me stuck in a younger state of mind. This programming constantly running in the background. Am I enough? I'm not enough. Am I enough? I understand now that my grandmother and the generations before her weren't trying to create this pressure. They were trying to create safety. They had survived war, migration, uncertainty, darkness, and in their world, achievement meant protection. You did what you had to do to keep your place, to keep your safety, to secure your family's future, to prove you belonged. So, comparison wasn't malice. It was a survival mechanism dressed in tradition. But times change. The past always seeks to recreate itself, which is why it's imperative to approach building our family culture with purpose and intention. It took me years to see that this way of thinking, it doesn't build people up. It may be a temporary fix to gain some motivation to complete a goal, but ultimately, it's fracturing. It keeps you performing for approval that never really arrives, and it trains you to measure your worth by someone else's story instead of your own. Comparison is the language of the ego. It says, if I'm not like them, I'm behind. But the truth is, you were never meant to be like them. The other side of it is the arrogant voice saying, I'm not like them, I will never be like them. Both perspectives put you in separation. When I finally began to let this idea of comparison, which at its root is a form of separation, when I started to let this go, I started to finally feel freedom. Not the kind that shouts, "Look at me, I'm here, I've arrived." Not the kind that shrinks and whispers, "Don't look at me, I suck." But the kind that lets you breathe and just be right there in the middle, You stop needing to outpace anyone. You stop needing to chase someone else's coattails. You begin to cooperate with the life that's already unfolding through you. That's what I want my daughter to know, that she doesn't need to compete for a place that was already hers. She can move through this world certain that she belongs, not to the world, but to the Creator that created it. And if she can hold on to that truth, I believe she'll be able to walk through anything with steadiness, not as quote-unquote somebody trying to prove her worth, but as a person already whole, already enough, and already in her right place. When we stop comparing, we stop competing with the people we're meant to love most. We see them, our children, our partners, our parents, our family members, not as measures of our worth, but as reminders of God's creativity and the nature of God itself. Relationship harmony. Maybe that's the whole point. Not to raise perfect kids or prove anything to anyone, but to create a home where everyone feels free to become who they already are. So if you're a mother walking this same path, breaking cycles, choosing peace over pressure, positivity over the lower thought, I'm right there with you. Let's raise our children differently. And let's let them raise us differently, too. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And leave a comment. It really helps my channel to grow. Until next time, be well today.